All of Donald Trump's stooges have been having a difficult time lately because they are forced to go on Fox, CNN, sometimes MSNBC, and try to defend Donald Trump's lies, his craziness, the positions that he is taking. And over the past couple of weeks, as Donald Trump has unraveled more and more, we have seen more visibly disturbed, distraught, and depressed Trump stooges appearing on the Sunday shows, just so tired of defending Donald Trump. And the one who I think is really wearing their heart on their sleeve the most, just showing how tired they are of Donald Trump and what he is forcing them to do, is Lindsey Graham, who went on Jake Tapper this morning and was doing his best to defend Donald Trump, but really quickly crashed and burned, kind of struggling the entire time. Because again, how can you defend Donald Trump? And especially with some decisions that he made recently that Jake was pressing Lindsey Graham on, that he really just couldn't come up with a good answer, kind of dodging the question. And again, Lindsey just kind of, like Donald Trump, unraveled more and more as the interview went on, because it is just so difficult for him with a straight face to try to defend Donald Trump when he has already come out and say, in the past weeks, if Donald Trump continues to unravel like this, he will lose this election. And it's basically what he said during this interview as well, but I want to get right into it.
Two pro-Trump organizations are hosting a January 6 awards gala at the Trump National Golf Course in Bedminster, New Jersey next Tuesday. The event is supposed to pay tribute to all January 6 defendants and raise money for these defendants and, in many cases, convicted criminals who assaulted the Capitol, assaulted law enforcement. Now, the Trump campaign says Donald Trump is not attending, although the organizers say they expect him to attend and that he's on the invitation as an invited guest. Do you think it would be a mistake for him to go? And is it a mistake for this event to be taking place at Bedminster at all?
Well, my view of January 6th, I was actually there, that the people who broke into the Capitol and assaulted police officers should go to jail. They committed a crime. There are people very upset about the outcome of the 2020 election. I get that. But Vice President Harris tried to raise bail money for people who burned Minneapolis. I didn't like that either. So when it comes to the parties condoning violence, I would say we both should knock it off in that regard. But Vice President Harris went on tweeted out, raise money to get these people out of jail who burnt Minneapolis and killed a police officer. So what I would say is that this election is not going to be decided based on the 2020 outcome, but how people are living in 2024. So no, I have no sympathy for those who broke into the Capitol, destroyed the place, and hurt police officers.
So you don't think that Donald Trump should allow this fundraiser at Bedminster?
Well, I'll let him. There are people being held, I think, that have their due process rights violated. Quite frankly, they haven't been brought to trial yet. I don't like that very much. But I'll leave it up to him as to what causes to support. I am supporting him because my country, your country, our country is hurting, and he offers policy changes that we desperately need.
All right, Senator Lindsey Graham, South Carolina, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Lindsey Graham was there on January 6th. He had his life threatened by the violent mob. And afterwards, he went on the Senate floor. He said, I'm done. He said, I'm out. He said, the Trump era is over. And of course, he has since backtracked on that. And for someone who felt so passionately in that moment, as he should have, he had his life threatened by the MAGA mob, to go back on that and to now be really kind of allowing and not really caring, and to sort of be defending still Donald Trump hosting a gala to raise money for the January 6th insurrectionists. And Lindsey kind of tried to duck the question there, but no, this isn't just for people who they quote unquote say just walked into the Capitol, because no one was walking into the Capitol. They were breaking and entering and attacking police officers. But no, this is to raise money for those who have already been convicted of crimes, found guilty by a jury of their peers, the people who Donald Trump says he's going to pardon if he becomes president again. Violent criminals. Yeah, this is the party of law and order. It's ridiculous. It's hypocritical. And it is indefensible from Lindsey Graham especially. But that is what having a MAGA mindset is. That is what being in the cult of MAGA is all about. And we can see that in Lindsey Graham's defense of this kind of wild claim that Donald Trump is making. right here.
Let's turn to another important issue in this election, abortion. Former President Trump made some news the other night. He posted on Truth Social, quote, "My administration will be great for women and their reproductive rights," unquote. That's language that obviously sounds kind of the left.
Yeah.
The top editor of the conservative National Review said, quote, "Trump's abandonment of pro-lifers is complete," unquote. Family Research Council President Tony Perkins said Trump is going to suppress his own supporters and, quote, "My advice is when you're in a hole, stop digging," unquote. What exactly is Donald Trump going to do to, quote unquote, help women's reproductive rights?
Yeah, no, you need to ask him about that. What I would say is that President Trump was a very good pro-life president. His position now, as I understand it, is that he's going to leave the abortion issue to the states. He doesn't believe there's a role for the federal government. My position has always been to be against late-term abortion. It's a state issue up to a point. 47 of 52 European nations limit abortion from 12 to 15 weeks. I have a bill that says at 15 weeks we limit abortion. We keep the exceptions in place because the baby can feel pain. He's not going to win or lose this election based on the abortion issue. His position of allowing the states to do it, I respect that. The pro-life community is organized around the well-being of the child, giving the mother options other than an abortion. That movement will continue after he's gone. But I do believe if you're pro-life, Waltz and Harrison Waltz are a nightmare for you because they would nationalize abortion and wipe out every protection for the unborn at the state level. They would allow abortion on demand up to the moment of birth. The exceptions they talk about in their bill do away with any limits. And please ask Vice President Harris, if you see her again, at what point would you limit abortion, at what week, if any, and see what she says.
But now he's trying to change his mind or change the perception of him on the issue of abortion, which, hey, Donald, as you repeatedly say that you are the person singularly most responsible for the overturning of Roe v. Wade, I don't really think you're going to win on that issue. And the fact that Lindsey Graham says that this won't be what's deciding this election when the issues of democracy and abortion are two of the most important in this election, I find ridiculous and out of touch. It just shows the alternate reality that MAGA is living in, that they think Republicans aren't going to lose this election because of abortion, when that's the main reason they've been losing elections since Roe was overturned. It's absolutely hysterical. And I also love that Donald Trump has already begun getting hate from the right. Yes, MAGA is now coming after him because he's trying to flip-flop on this issue, which, I actually encourage Donald Trump to do because we all know what his position is on abortion. We know he wants to attack fundamental freedoms. And so if he wants to pretend that he's trying to flip-flop and then get attacked by the right, really losing from all sides, I completely encourage it. And it isn't the only example of a bit of a flip-flopper twisting the truth that we saw, of course, in this interview. We also did with this clip right here.
The Democratic Convention generated a lot of energy this week. Millions of viewers tuned in, a bit more than tuned into the Republican convention. It was disciplined. It was well produced. It conveyed patriotism and unity. The Harris campaign says it's raised an eye-popping $540 million in 35 days. You are as close to Donald Trump as anyone. Is what he saw this week making him and his campaign nervous at all?
Well, I didn't see what you saw. If you're a Republican, you saw a hate fest. You saw a hate fest full of insults. And Donald Trump said to Barack Obama, "You're a nice man," after President Obama, insulted and jabbed President Trump continuously.
There was no bigger lie in this interview than Lindsey Graham trying to say that Donald Trump wasn't upset by Barack Obama's speech, that he didn't let it get to him, that he was trying to be nice and cordial after. Yeah, I watch all of Donald Trump's rallies. Believe me, it is terrible. And he's definitely let it get to him. The insult there that Barack Obama did, the talking about crowd sizes and maybe something else, has really gotten into Donald Trump's head. He cannot stop mentioning Barack Obama during his rallies. And again, I've said this before, although the pushing Donald Trump's buttons and upsetting him may seem insignificant, when we are getting him off of his game, which his game is kind of nothing at this point, but when we are getting him off message, when we are making him unravel and get upset, it just shows the American people how unfit he is and how much he is unraveling. And so it is important to push Donald Trump's buttons, as insignificant as it may seem, because when he melts down, it is a great reminder of the reason why he can never be close to the White House again. And we are going to keep talking about that on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, make sure to hit that subscribe button, to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already, you want to go a little extra step further in supporting this channel, you can click that join button and become a monthly member. The support really goes a long way as a college student, and it means the world to me. And until next time, I'll see you soon.